Welcome to the Finance Report. I'm David Wilkinson alongside Mallory Hoff and our guest, Charisse Rivers. Over the next half hour, we're going to be breaking down some of the keys to prepare for a successful retirement.
That's right, and here's what's ahead. First, we'll talk income and why retirees should consider replacing their paycheck in retirement. Then in 15 and 15, we'll discuss taxes, lifestyle, and your 401k. We'll also discuss market volatility and what it could mean for you.
But first, Charisse Rivers is the founder of Zinnia Wealth Management, a firm that focuses on preparing people for a successful retirement. She's also the popular radio host of Retirement Coffee Talk, which you can hear Saturdays on WXJB 99.9 FM and Sundays on WSKY 97.3 FM. So, Charisse, once we hit retirement, the paycheck stops, but the bills, they keep on coming. Why is it so important for retirees to think about replacing their paycheck?
Well, David, Mallory, thank you for having me today. Replacing that paycheck is probably one of the most important things that you're going to need to do before you retire, okay? We've had a paycheck our entire lives. We want to continue that paycheck. For some reason, advisors tend to try to reinvent the wheel, and really, we've been clipping coupons, maybe not buying the fanciest cars our entire lives for the last 30 years, so we can build this, big chunk of money, and then we retire, and now we're picking at it, and so that's not really a strategy. So we want to continue that income stream for the rest of our life, and for the spouse's life, in case you pass away, something that's sustainable, and that is going up with inflation every year at the same time. So it's uber important.
We talk a lot about pensions, Social Security. Realistically speaking, can that be enough to rely on?
I have never met one person that can literally retire on just a Social Security check, right? And then I meet people who have Social Security and pensions, and that's still not enough. So they created this three-legged stool back in 20, 30 years ago, and the three-legged stool was there for protection. We had savings, we had pensions, we have Social Security, and really what it needs to be today is the five-legged stool, because we're not earning the same returns that people were earning back then. It's changed, the game has changed, and everything's actually been flip-flopped because interest rates go up, bond values go down. Who would have known we would have been in a time period like this? Who would have known CDs would have ever gone any lower than 3%? So we really have to look at new dynamics, make sure we have an income plan, we have a protection plan, we have a growth plan to keep up with inflation, and also have a tax plan so we're not giving more to Uncle Sam later. We can keep more in our pockets.
Why do you think there's this misconception for so many retirees that when they finally get to this point of life, they look down, they've got this big pile of money, and that's all they have? I'm just going to pick away at it.
Accumulation is a challenge in retirement. It truly is, because some people want to put it all in cash and some people want to go 100% in the market, and then now they're risking 50% losses in the stock market. So it is a challenge, and so if you build in these income streams and you design this portfolio to work, as long as you are still alive, and it hopefully leaves some money for a beneficiary down the road, it will provide you that sustainable income and inflation increasing income every year. But you have to plan in advance. 3 to 5 years before you retire, you've got to come in and meet with that retirement planner. And the right advisor in the right phase of life is also really important. So you need that retirement planner that understands the entirety of how retirement's going to look, the domino effect if you don't get this right, because let's face it, when we need knee surgery, we don't go to a heart surgeon, do we? Right, no. So we want to make sure we're going to the right advisors for the right phase of life, create those income plans, tax strategies, which we miss a lot, and make sure we have growth and inflation protection.
Charisse, always great insight and guidance, and for that reason, the time to act is now. Exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Charisse has a great offer. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, she's offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team at Zinnia Wealth Management to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. The number to call right now, 352-309-0775. One of the most critical components when it comes to planning for a successful retirement is, of course, avoiding big losses. Charisse, why do you feel that so many retirees in this country are really overlooking how much risk they're taking on?
I'll be honest with you. I think it's the conventional financial wisdom that's out there right now. We were taught to buy and hold and never sell. So we're just doing what we've been told for the last 30 to 40 years. And there's not anybody really out there educating them about what is sequence of returns risk, which is a new risk that we embark in when we actually finally retire. You've never had this risk before.
Okay.
And we retire, and it's a new risk, and it's all about the sequence of returns we have as we're pulling money off our portfolio. So it's really just education and showing people in a simple manner, what could possibly happen if the stock markets were to crash. And so the buy and hold strategy, they never say, Wall Street never says when to buy and sell. So what happens is people have a forced hand because eventually they are forced to pull money out of their retirement accounts at a certain age because of the required minimum distribution rule. And then guess what happens? If they're all in dividends, it's not enough dividends to pay the RMD. So now you're cashing out and selling stocks when they're hemorrhaging and the market is falling. So I think just educating people so they understand that we need to have more than just a buy and hold portfolio and why it's important to add income checks to retirement to protect you from those types of things.
Charisse, how do we know for sure if our portfolio really can withstand the next major market correction or potentially a recession here?
Well, what we have to do at this point is do a deep dive and do a stress test on your portfolio so we can see if it could have weathered the 2007 and 2009 crash, because that might be upon us here in the near future. And if you can't weather it based on what your income needs are and what your output is, so we take inventory, we look at your bills, we look at your income sources and what you've saved, and we put it all the way back to the past, and we show you that, hey, you're gonna run out of money 15 or 20 years later, then you're not ready to retire. Or this is that time where we start to maximize our income strategies and we build the income to show you if you do retire, we cannot have all our money in the stock market. We have to create these income checks. We have to have these preservation strategies where you don't lose when the market goes down, but you also still need those growth strategies to protect you from inflation and hopefully leave money for a legacy down the road. So we want to retire by design, not by default. So we have to do the math on this.
By design, not by default. I really like that. Let me ask you this. If you're watching at home, you're hearing all this, you're saying, Charisse, this all sounds on point, but I want to make sure I'm still growing my money. How do you respond?
So we know going into bonds right now, it's a stressed bond period. So we probably can't go into this for a little bit now. Cash, we're losing to inflation and purchasing power in the future. So there's no better time than the present to start looking at these alternatives that are out there. I'm going to tell you, competition drives excellence. And 10 years ago, we didn't have all of this to be able to offer to our clients, but now we have hundreds, thousands of companies truly competing for your affection. And the reason is because 10 years ago, there was 10,000 baby boomers retiring every day, and they just want the capital. So they've made it a little bit more lucrative, more options, more liquidity, and a little bit more protection, which we really want in retirement. So when the knife falls, we don't lose 50% on that kind of money,
Charisse, always a great conversation, and it won't stop here. But for now, coming up on the Finance Report, we'll talk market volatility, past, present, and future. And up next in 15 in 15, David will put Charisse on the clock.
Well, the times have changed, but I'm going to tell you, if I give you a guaranteed income check for the rest of your life and your spouse's life, are you going to be happy?
But first, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Charisse has a great offer. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, she's offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team at Zinnia Wealth Management to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. The number to call right now, 352-309-0775.
Time now for 15 in 15, 15 topics in 15 seconds for Charisse. Somewhat like rapid fire retirement, if you will. Are you ready to get going?
I'm very ready. Let's go.
Let's do this. Question number 1. We'd all like to believe we've made the right calls as we head into retirement. So Charisse, in your mind, what needs to be done in order to retire with confidence?
Well, number 1, finding the right advisor for the right phase of life that you're entering. So you need that retirement advisor. Number 2, you want a designed income plan and withdrawal strategy, because it's just not withdrawing out of one account. We're withdrawing out of like 5 or 6 accounts. So that withdrawal strategy has to be on the spot.
Understood. Question number 2, many people like to do their own investing. They've made money this way. However, what's the difference between investing your money and creating a retirement plan?
It's quite different. We have the investment plan and then we have the income plan. So we want to take that investment plan that you've been using this entire time and turn it into that income plan, that retirement plan, by providing those income checks, those growth checks, and those protection checks.
Absolutely. And again, life changes at this stage of life. Question number 3, good news, bad news. The good news is we're living longer than ever before. Here's the bad news. That means we need more money than ever before. So what needs to be done is part of a plan to make sure you have enough money to get to and through retirement.
Well, it starts with a spending plan, figuring out what the inventory is. What do you have debt? Do we have a mortgage? Do we have a car payment? If we don't, okay, what are our fixed incomes? Is it going to be Social Security, pension? Take those assets and figure out that plan all in and see what's disposable, because we want to front load those go-go years and give you more early on, but we have to have enough money ready to go so that when we create these income plans, you're off sailing and you never run out of money. That's the goal.
That's an absolute win right there. So sometimes saving, it can be a challenge. But why do you think those high earners, people that are making 6, 7 figures while they're working, are missing the boat when it comes to saving for retirement?
Well, what happens, we're in this 6 to 7 figure income. We tend to spend a lot of that money. We're not saving enough. So that 10 years before retirement, we want to make sure we hunker down, sit down with that retirement advisor so we can tell you what you need to do to get to retirement. Because if you need $250,000 in income, we have to start planning in advance.
And again, hope is not a plan for retirement. Question number 5, according to a recent survey, 2/3 of workers said they would need $500,000 to retire comfortably. How'd they come up with that number? They guessed. Why is guessing not a solid retirement strategy?
It's just like hoping. We don't want to hope for a plan. We don't want to guess for a plan. We want to come in. We want to stress test your portfolio. We want to see, is that 5,000 or 500,000 or 5 million enough to retire on? And some people come in with 5 million and it's still not enough. So we have to, work backwards and figure out what to cut out, or they have to work a little bit longer. So we want to be careful.
We've talked about this before. There is no magic number for retirement. See the numbers, get that plan. Question number 6, 401ks. Lots of people contribute. Lots of people are relying on them in retirement. But for those that have an old one that they left at a previous employer, what should they be doing with it?
Well, they should immediately be taking that 401k and rolling it over to an IRA with a local advisor where you can start this pre-planning process and do things that maybe you can't do in a typical 401k. 401ks are a small menu. You don't have a whole lot of options. And it doesn't matter what age you are. You can be under 59 and a half and do this, and there's no taxes and there's no penalties to do so.
A lot of strategies. Pop the hood. Make sure your 401k is working hard for you. Question number 7, we want to keep more money in our pockets. So what have you seen to people's retirement plans when they discover they're paying a lot in fees and have never addressed it?
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's going to erode your portfolio because we're getting ready to retire. We're not going to be in that double-digit growth anymore because now we want to save our money, protect our money. We're going through decumulation and living on that money, so that we're going to expect a lower rate of return. So why aren't we lowering fees? Your fees should be under 1%. All in. So we need to be very careful and cautious with that, and that's why you want to sit down with that retirement advisor, because that's what their goals are. Lower your fees, create income, make sure you don't run out of money.
Lower those fees, which potentially means more money in your pockets.
Exactly.
Everybody wins right there. All right, we're done with 7 questions. We're going to hit timeout. We are pausing the clock. A lot of great information here, which is why Charisse has a great offer exclusively for our Finance Report viewers. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, she's offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow Charisse and the team at Zinnia Wealth Management to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. A game plan to get you where you need to be. The number to call, 352-309-0775. Back on the clock we go. Topic number 8 of 15 in 15. As we've talked about, tax planning, it is critical. So, Charisse, are there strategies that can potentially move our retirements into a lower tax bracket?
Absolutely, but not just lower, to a zero tax
bracket.
Say it again. A zero tax bracket. But it's going to take a little bit of work. I need about 3 to 5 years, and we have a lot of money in retirement accounts, and we need more retirees to be jumping on board with this tax plan, because later on when taxes go up with the debt that we're in today, it's going to be detrimental, because all the income that we start planning is going to disappear because you're going to be paying more taxes most likely in the future.
Something to keep in mind. And I imagine the line is pretty long for people that want to get into the zero tax brackets. Sign me up. Question number 9. For some, taxes in retirement, though, could cost more than, get this, the combination of food, clothing, and health care. So how can we lessen our tax burdens?
Well, here we got to start with this thing called asset shifting. We have to start shifting your assets. We have to start creating this tax-free bucket so that when you do go get a roof for your house, you're not having to pull it out of the IRA, pay 20 grand, but go ahead and pull another 5 grand to pay for that tax bill. So we want to have this tax-free income down the road for either income or those unexpected expenses that we know are going to come.
Absolutely. So many tax strategies. You want to get dialed in on those for a successful retirement. Question number 10. This is an alarming term. Dead money. What is dead money, and how often are retirees unaware they're carrying it?
So money in the bank would be dead money. I mean, if you're making 1%, you're lucky today at the bank. So you're losing to future purchasing power every year. Money under the mattress. I know we have some of that. If you have too much of it, we want to be really careful. So we have to look at other alternatives out there that are shifting our assets to more fixed, more guarantees. I mean, right now we got a 4.5% fixed guarantee for 5 years. It's a great CD alternative, right? I don't know how long it's going to stay, but there are those things out there that you can put that dead money into so we don't continue to lose to inflation every year.
Look, you've worked hard for your money. You want to make sure your money's working hard for you in retirement. Next up, market volatility, big losses. What can retirement potentially look like for those that are sadly living in recovery mode?
Yeah, so you don't want to catch the tail of a rocket because eventually you're going to get burned. And so if you lose 30-40% when you're in retirement, you're not really supposed to pull money out of those accounts. That's a cardinal sin. This is why the number one fear in retirement is running out of money. So we have to come up with these other strategies. We can have some money in the market, but we need the income strategies, we need the protection strategies, and the growth strategies, which we're used to.
A lot of important information you're giving us, but perhaps the most important, don't catch the tail end of a rocket or you will get burned. Love that. Question number 12, strategies from years past that are still being used by people. Do you believe the rule of 100 is still a smart way to approach your retirement portfolio?
It's a guide. It says take your age, subtract it by 100, and no more than that should be in the stock market. I prefer to have a balanced approach and look at what is our income need. Let's make sure we button up our income first, and the rest can go in the stock market if that's where you really want to be. But I'll tell you, most people don't come into my office saying, give me the jiggliest thing you have, Charisse.
The jiggliest thing. Balance works, though.
Yes.
You want to be balanced in retirement. Question number 13. When it comes to Social Security, people are fearful it might not be there, and they should just claim it as soon as they're eligible. Do you believe that shoe fits all?
No, it definitely doesn't, because a lot of households, we have a husband and wife, and one of the spouses was typically the higher income earner because somebody maybe was demographically taking care of the kids and the Social Security check wasn't as big. But if one collects, I think that's okay, but we want to have those delayed retirement credits, because if you wait from full retirement age to age 70, that's 8% almost every year until you collect. And then when one spouse passes, the smaller of the Social Security basically falls off. So we want to leave more income in the future, especially if you don't have a pension already or an income plan.
Understood. And again, there's a lot of options out there. You want to be dialed in on them. Question number 14. There have been studies done on people with annuities, and one I read said people with annuities are actually happier in retirement. Why do you think that is?
Well, the times have changed, but I'm going to tell you, if I give you a guaranteed income track for the rest of your life and your spouse's life, are you going to be happy?
It sounds good.
Because the conversation you want in retirement is, honey, the market's crashing, but we have these checks coming into our bank account every month, and the cash is building. Where do we spend it? That's the conversation you want. You don't want that conversation of pacing up and down the hallway saying woulda, coulda, shoulda.
We've had that conversation as well. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly about annuities, and they certainly have come a long way since yesteryear.
Yeah, a lot of variations, and you need to study them, you need to understand them, and work with a retirement planner that actually can give you direction and help you really truly understand and make those choices.
You've preached this. Get educated on it and don't just judge by what your neighbor is telling
Correct.
you. Final question at 15 and 15. For many retirees, they won't have a lifetime pension income to rely on. Instead, they'll rely on their workplace retirement plan. So, Charisse, for the middle-class millionaires, what should their strategy be for retirement?
So we want to protect first and foremost, right? We want to create income streams so that you can keep up with the days, even when the days are bad and the market's going down. You want that protection strategy so you have some leverage, so when markets do go down, you have something that's only going up and not downwards. And then you also want that growth strategy where it has maybe some of that income from that dividends built in, maybe some real estate income, maybe some of these structured notes. So there's a lot of alternatives out there besides throwing it all in the 60-40 portfolio, because that is old school and it will not work moving forward.
Again, you retire as a millionaire. It sure would be nice to keep living as a millionaire
Absolutely.
retirement. Charisse, awesome information. 15 and 15 is in the books, which means it's a great time for you to get on Zinnia Wealth Management's books. Today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Charisse has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, she's offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team at Zinnia Wealth Management to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. It's a game plan to get you where you need to be. The number to call right now, 352-309-0775.
And we're going to take a trip back to 2008 for a moment from a market standpoint. Charisse, you've been doing this for a long time. To say this was a trying time in this country would be an understatement. You were actually in the industry at this point in time. Break down for me what you saw.
Well, it's interesting. In 2007 to 2009, that was an 18-month decline in the S&P 500. And the drawdown, it went all the way down to 51%. I saw a lot of people, new people coming in that I've never seen before, come in and say, I lost 40%, I lost 50%, Charisse, can you do anything about it? And I said, no, now that you lost 50%, it's too late. But I said, if you had come in somewhere midway through, that would have been still a good time to take some of that exposure off the table so that you could still live on your income. So people had a hard time. They had some hard decisions to make. They either had to go back to work or stop taking income from their portfolio so they didn't have to worry about running out of money in the future.
Charisse, let me ask you this then. Have we learned from this? We should have we?
We should have, but we haven't.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you, this last 12-year period, it's been a spiral up.
Longest bull market run in history.
And it's been amazing. We've all made a lot of money. But the problem is I'm seeing these pre-retirees getting ready to retire, and on paper they look like a 35-year-old. And I ask them, why? Do you know you can lose 45% or 40, or even I had somebody come in the other day, 55%. They said, no, I thought my financial advisor was taking care of me. But what's happening, there's been no changes. You're doing the same thing you were doing the last 30 years, and you can no longer do that. Being at the tip of the iceberg of the stock market, eventually it's going to come down.
Psychologically speaking, how hard is it to tell someone it's time to go, it's time to make your move?
Yeah, it's a poker chip mentality.
Yeah.
You're sitting playing poker. You know, the house always wins. If you don't take some of those chips off the table, it's the same thing. Talking somebody off the ledge here when they're having this euphoric feeling of growth, like, oh, we got to catch this wave, we got to get in. They don't want to feel left out. But then what happens is that euphoria ends.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, this is what we see. And we don't know how far it can go. And if this happens and you have all your money doing something like this, you're not going to be able to retire. And if you're in retirement, you're going to have to stop taking income from that portfolio, because that is the number one reason and fear of running out of money is because this happened here and even further back again.
And that's a devastating place to be. Let me ask you this then. A first appointment, a first visit with you at your office, how frequently do you find folks whose portfolio really doesn't match that age and stage?
9 out of 10 times, and it's scary. And I remember back then it was the same deal. We're in the same scenario we were in 12 years ago, and this is why people haven't learned. These people are retired, they're doing okay now, they're planning, but the people getting ready to retire, they're not thinking. And so we have to get that growth strategy in a sound position. We need to create income checks so you don't have to worry about stopping taking withdrawals. We have to have protection strategies so not all your dollars do this, and we need a growth strategy for the future, for inflation, for potentially legacy giving at the end of the day.
Really important information from someone who has seen it all firsthand in the industry. Charisse, thank you very much. Once again, the time to act is now. Exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Charisse has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, she's offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you. This will allow the team at Zinnia Wealth Management to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. The number to call right now, 352-309-0775. And before we go today, let's recap.
Yeah, absolutely. Charisse, let's start with income planning. Why is it so critical?
Well, let me just give you a great example of what recently happened to me with a client that came to one of our workshops. She was 60 years old. Her husband had already retired. She's a higher up executive. And she said, I can't retire right now, Charisse. I only have $2.5 million, and I have to wait till I'm 65 when I collect insurance. And I said, are you sure about that? How much income do you need? Is your debt paid off? She says, yeah, no debt. How much income do you need? She's like, $110,000 in income. I'm like, and you don't think you can retire on $2.5 million? She's like, I don't know how to do it, and I'm really scared. And so the next step was we created this income plan. We built in those income checks. She didn't have a pension. She just had a nice lump sum. And then we built in some protection strategies and growth strategies. And we showed her on our income software, listen, you're going to retire. This is a pessimistic plan. You're going to have income. It's going to go up with inflation every year.
Okay.
And you're not going to suffer big losses because we don't have that much money in the market, just a little bit, just to cover inflation and maybe legacy giving down the road. And I said, I can actually give you $150,000 during your first 10 years, your go-go years, more than you thought you needed. I said, how does that sound? She's like, how many bathing suits can I buy with that? So it's a very gratifying position that I'm in because, you know, I'm saving retirement plans all day long without having to shovel all your money in the stock market and do that 60-40 portfolio that historically hasn't worked that great.
Wow, Charisse, a really great story there. You've also mentioned today how incredibly important proper tax planning is. Let's circle back on that.
So we're in trillions of dollars of debt. And guess what? Uncle Sam means business, and they're going to be coming knocking out your door because you saved those pre-retirees, getting close to retirement, and retirees. You got a bundle of money. They're going to tax you because you have all the money, right?
Yeah.
So we want to get you into a lower tax bracket in the future or a zero tax bracket in the future. Taxes are on sale, so let's take advantage of it now and start creating some tax planning strategies, sheltering strategies, and maybe some tax-free income in the future.
In terms of market volatility, why do you think it's important to scale back some risk at this stage of life?
You know, the market's been up. It's been wonderful. We had this nice bull market. Eventually, it's got to end. And like I always say, we don't want to catch the tail of a rocket ship and get burned because eventually it's going to happen. So take the poker chips off the table. Let's be smart. Let's have some alternatives built into our retirement plan. We don't have to have all of our stock market money on one location. We want 12 baskets with one egg in each basket. We don't want one basket with 12 eggs in one.
You said a few times today that when it comes to planning for a successful retirement, there really is no magic number. I know you're passionate about the answer to that one.
Yeah, there is no magic number. Just like that example of the lady who had $2.5 million. She was trying to get more, all because of insurance. She didn't think she had. There's no magic number. It's all about that income check. Income, income, income. It makes the world go around. We've had these income checks our entire lives. Why are we reinventing the wheel and now picking up off this big mound of money? Let's just turn that into income checks, provide some other strategies built in, give you 4 to 5 of those checks, real estate, dividends, annuities, if you don't have a pension, Social Security, and so much more out there. But you have to work with that retirement planner who understands this.
And you have something very special for our viewers who are watching at home.
That's right. We want you to retire by design and not by default. So the first 5 callers have saved $500,000 or more for retirement. I would like to extend an invitation for you to give us a call, and our team will personally help you put together your very own retirement plan. Mallory and David will do this absolutely on a complimentary basis.
A very generous offer, an opportunity that should not be missed. So for you at home, once again exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, Charisse has a special offer to help you get ready for retirement. Right now, for the first 5 callers with $500,000 or more saved, she's offering a complimentary full-blown retirement plan just for you.
That's right. This will allow Charisse and her team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. The number to call right now, 352-309-0775. And for all of us here at the Finance Report, thanks for watching.
We'll see you back here next time.